I'm personally really excited for this panel. I mean, we got 4 awesome speakers up here, and the theme of the day has kind of been Imri's call for the light bulb moment. We're really hoping that we're going to generate a lot of those over the next 35, 40 minutes or so. Want to go through and let these guys kind of introduce themselves real quick, and as we do that, to kind of save ourselves some time here, I'd like to kind of, as an icebreaker, share your favorite piece of social content that you have created or been a part of over the past 6 months, year. Jermaine from Bleacher Report, who's one of the kings online in sports social media, so we're really excited to have you here. Appreciate you being here. I'm sure you could pick from a laundry list of cool things you've done. What's one thing that particularly stood out to you?
Yeah, I think my favorite piece that our team has done recently was our tribute to Kobe Bryant when he retired. Everybody knows Kobe Bryant was one of the all-time great basketball players. His retirement was this long, protracted thing over the course of the entire NBA season. Going into his last game, we knew that the whole world would be doing social-specific content on Kobe Bryant, and so we spent a lot of time thinking about what we could do that would be differentiated from, you know, what your ESPNs and your USA Today for the wins and even your Nikes and other brands what would be doing. We wanted to create something that was on brand for Bleacher Report, but also, you know, a good tribute to Kobe. So we ended up coming up with this 9-panel Instagram video poster. We had seen people do posters on Instagram before. I think a lot of you guys probably have, where you take 9 different or 6 different images and you crop them in such a way that when you look at the full page, they come together and make a poster. So we'd seen that done before, but we never saw anyone do it with 9 videos. So we worked with a bunch of designers. Each video told a particular part of Kobe's life, from, you know, him being drafted all the way up through him winning championships. We just thought it was a really cool, innovative piece, something that nobody had done before, and we were really happy with how it came out.
Awesome, and to kind of give everyone an idea of some of the cool content you've created, you brought a bit of a sizzle reel, so let's load that up and take a look.
Yeah. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3.
Last name ever, first name greatest. Like a sprained ankle, boy, ain't nothing to play with. Started off local, but thanks to all the haters, I don't cheat for opponents on a first name basis. In your city, paid it off the ground. We know, she insists she got more class. We know, swimming in the money, come and find me. Nemo, if I was at the club, you know I'm ball. Chemo.
Hello, it's the Martian. Space Jam Gardens. I want this shit forever. Wake up and smell the garden. My mind shine even when my thoughts seem dark. Pistol on my side, you don't wanna hear that thing talk. Let the king talk, check the price and pay attention. No rain, that's what they gotta say a million. I'm like Nevada in the middle of the summer. I'm resting in the lead, I need a pillow and a cover. My foot sleeping on the gas. No great pass, no such thing as last.
It may not mean nothing to y'all.
It's very clear you guys have a lot of fun with content, which
Absolutely.
is probably what makes you guys as successful as you are. Right?
Absolutely. It's big.
Okay, let's move on to David real quick from the University of Houston. You're really in the SID role traditionally. That's how you got into this business, and social media basically forced itself upon you. So how have you worked that into your, well, actually first, let's get into the piece of content first. I don't want to tear apart your job too quick here.
Okay, yeah. No, our favorite piece of content over this last year was actually our day after signing day video with Coach Herman, our head football coach, and our director of football operations and strength and conditioning. Obviously, as technology has evolved, the fax machine isn't as involved with signing day anymore, but it's still a major piece everyone sees as a symbol of signing day. So a week before signing day, we actually taped our piece with one fax machine our campus office let us have. So we only had one take to make it real, and made a spoof of the Office Space movie where, you know, the guys from the office bust apart a printer. Luckily, Coach was all in. In fact, we had to sit down with him for about 30 minutes and watch the clip on YouTube multiple times to make sure all 3 guys had we're all hitting the fax machine right. And so got it done, and just another great piece. And it's it's mainly due to the buy-in from our athletes and from our coaches.
Yeah, I've got to love the commitment to authenticity in this piece. Let's take a look. So I got to ask, did you have a fax machine lying around? Did you have to beg Staples for one? How'd you find one?
I had to go to property management. I actually got the fax machine about 4 months before the video, just with the idea. And the first time we went, we told them what our idea was, and they wouldn't give us one. And so went back another time and just said we need an old fax machine that didn't work. We just need some parts from it. So that's how we got it.
Awesome. All right, Chris, from the Southland Conference perspective, we heard Rob Shaw from Facebook talk a little bit about the opportunities that social media provides for actually being a platform for live sporting events, and you guys experimented with that a little bit.
Yeah, we had never found an economical way to stream our cross-country championships, so decided to use Periscope to do that this year. Really simple, obviously, just folks running around a golf course. All I needed was a John Deere Gator and a guy named Jake to drive me around. Jake, there we go. There's Jake. But we had 500 live viewers at a time, which fairly small number, but a Monday morning with people just running around a golf course way north of Sam Houston State was the host this year, and they're in Huntsville, but their home course was flooded out and couldn't run there, so had to find a goat track golf course muni way north of town. I didn't trust the reception at all out there, so no advanced publicity. I imagine if there was, we might have a few more viewers on it, but it seems like the word got out to family and friends who wanted to watch those runners, and it was a good audience and a lot of engaged people sending in messages encouraging their student athletes, requesting for me to yell at their student athlete, go Karen, as you go back, as they went past. But obviously not going to do that for them. But nonetheless, it was fun and kind of a new way to bring live content to our fans.
Very cool. And last but not least, Dan from the Carolina Panthers. You guys are regarded as one of the best social media teams in the league, so we're really happy to have you here. I've got a clip here for you that we can queue up, but why don't you set it up for us?
Sure, absolutely. Well, happy to be here. And winning obviously helps a lot when we try to do this on the
Sure
social
does.
side. So our Spanish radio broadcast team has been part of our organization for 6 years, and they've done the same thing for 6 years, which is get really, really excited over small plays or big ones too. They get up, they scream. You can hear them in the press box from like 10 booths down. They bring a lot of excitement to those broadcasts, and we had a few wild plays to start the season with some crazy interceptions, some Cam Newton rolling into the end zone, flipping into the end zone. So we decided to pair their radio call with the actual highlight video to see if it would help give some extra traction. It also met some initiatives for us. We're trying to engage our Hispanic audience a little more, so it hit that. What we didn't expect is that it would become a sort of a viral sensation. When we put the video up on Facebook, it ended up reaching 7 million people within a couple days. And then it kind of launched them to stardom. So these guys that were doing the same thing for 6 or 7 years became the darling of the media world. They were getting interviewed by Sports Illustrated, ESPN, anybody who could embed the video, the YouTube one in their website wanted to talk to these guys. So it became a weekly series for us. Every time there was a big play, all our fans were asking, oh my God, what did they do? What was the Spanish radio call for that? So it became a weekly tradition. And I know if you guys want to roll that one, it
Sure.
speaks for itself.
Eats that up, right?
Oh gosh, I mean, it's we had one go for like a minute and a half, and we had to cut it off. So they bring a lot of excitement, a lot of passion, and now we have a couple of celebrities that are engaging a new fan base for us. But it unified our Hispanic fans as well as our English-speaking ones, and it's just really fun too. So that's what social media is all about.
Awesome. Really great stuff, guys. I'm sure you all have very different examples to present here, but everyone in the crowd is very interested in how I can do this and make this fit into all of the stuff that I already have to do. So could you show me, outline for us a little bit about what your workflow is like, whether it's a game day Sunday or, NBA finals tonight, or, Houston football Saturday or, Southland Conference baseball. How do you build around your big tentpole events? And Jermaine, let's start with you on how Bleacher Report kind of gets ready for, a big night in the NBA, let's say.
Sure. So speaking of big nights in the NBA, we have one tonight.
Yeah, what are you doing here?
So we actually, part of Bleacher Report's DNA is to capture the spirit of the game as much as we capture the news of the game, right? So we kind of want to be we want our social media feeds to feel like what your group chats feel like when you're texting your friends during the middle of a game, right? That's what we want our social media feeds to feel like. So we've built a staff of 25 people that we call our social moments team. That team is tasked with identifying potential opportunities for huge social wins and game planning around how we win those moments. So for a game like tonight, we'll have 2 what we call pods set up. Pods would be collectives of 3 to 5 people from our social media team. So we have, usually it's 2 idea people, ideators, guys or girls who sit around and think about ways to respond to moments that happen in game. So big LeBron James dunk or Steph Curry goes off for a bunch of threes in the third quarter. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna respond on social in a way that reflects the spirit of that particular moment? So we'll have 2 pods working. That pod will have 2 ideators, one person who focuses on static graphics, so think taking statistics and creating still images that reflect that statistic. And then another person will be focused on what we call advanced video editing. So in the Sizzle Reel, you might have saw one where we took LeBron James, a fast break dunk, and made him jump like 15 feet in the air. That takes advanced video editing skills, so we'll have one person that's doing that. So the first pod with those 4 to 5 different positions will be focused on what we call wave 1 and wave 2 responses. Wave 1 and wave 2 responses would be responses to stuff that happens in the game in real time. Now, I know most of you here know about rights issues, right? So we have deals with the different networks, and so we have rights to some games. Sometimes we have to wait till the end of the game before we can show anything, and sometimes we can do real-time highlights right as they happen. So if it's a game where we have real-time highlights, we want to create a treatment to that particular highlight immediately. If it's a game where we have to wait, then we'll wait. But yeah, so they're focused on what we call wave 1 and wave 2 reactions. Wave 1 is real time, wave 2 extends out, I'd say about an hour after the game is over. So we're trying to get stuff out within that window. And then the second pod, composed of similarly skilled individuals, but they're focused on what we call wave 3 and wave 4 responses. Wave 3 responses would be more than an hour after the game finishes, all the way up through 7 a.m. the next morning when, like if it's a West Coast game, right, and it ended at 1 a.m., a lot of people may not have seen the buzzer beater that closed out the game. So we'll present that to them as a wave 4 with some sort of advanced treatment. So that's really how we set it up. We do a lot of advanced game planning. We talk about storylines. We talk about, who the star players are, who the keys are. Today we rolled out our sort of 6-part Instagram series on leading up to the game. We've got a cartoon that literally I was sending an email about before I came up today. It's like a Drake-centered cartoon that we're going to roll out. So yeah, we do a lot of pre-planning, and then we have 2 pods that work the games in real time.
Cool. David, I'd like to get a little bit of your perspective. Since you still have the SID hat on, you still got a lot of the balls in the air while a major event is going on. So if you get a spark or something big happens where you go, man, we got to get that on Twitter if you have the rights to do so, or got a really great idea for something. How are you able to fit it in your workflow to be like, all right, let's get this out?
Yeah, it's kind of a mix between, I guess, planned and unplanned. As much as we can plan out in advance and, essentially curate that content, stack it up, and have that ready to go during the game. And then unplanned, too. I mean, we tell all of our students, all of our staff, it's like the old security saying, see something, say something. Our whole thing is see something, shoot something. Because, with this right here, everyone's walking around, everyone's a cameraman, everyone's a shooter. So while we don't necessarily trust our students to run our social media accounts, just because if something does come off negative, I'm the one who's gonna hear about it. We do, trust them and rely on them to help us create content and accumulate, video and photos we can use. This year, we're already getting better with planning, students in strategic areas of the stadium, in front of the student section, literally just to shoot the student section if we have a big play and get that content. Others coming down the tunnel behind the team. Planning out our different shots, because unfortunately, we don't have the digital media department, and our video department outside of one person at this point is running our video board. So
sure.
We're relying on those free students, and I mean, the other thing too is they're getting invaluable experience and just access they'll never have. And then the other thing too is don't rely on just your staff. I mean, we look at fan videos as well. One of our early videos early in the year that went really well, that blew up nationally, was we beat Louisville at Louisville, and close game early in the season. It's big time win for our program. I come back into the locker room, and our team's going wild. They've got music, they've got rap music going, everyone's dancing, but our coach was kind of quieting down, and I was late in there because I was on the field for a post-game interview with our quarterback, and one of our donors who happened to be in the locker room, taps me on the shoulder and says, check out this video, I shot of the guys going crazy. I'm like, you've got to send that to me right now. And so, using fans and other people outside of your department. I mean, one of the things we have planned this year is a sponsored fan element of our fan video of the game. And we're going to get those because of connectivity in our stadium. We're not asking for them during the game, but after the game. And each week we're going to pick a fan video of the game and tag that person, play their video, and our next home game, it's going to be on the video board. I mean, that's just encouraging fans to give us their look at the game. And we're trying to recruit fans and sell that experience in the stands. And what better way to do that than from a fan itself?
Right, of course. So when you say you prepare, you build, graphical templates. It's like, all right, I know we're going to put out, here's the score at halftime.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and you'll throw in a picture.
Templates, GIFs, even though the inventor said it's GIFs now, I'm staying with GIFs. Anything like that in advance. I mean, like one of the things we did last year, going into, I believe it was week 9, we knew that us and Baylor were the only 2 undefeated teams in the state of Texas. So we went ahead and had our graphic designer create a 3D state of Texas, all red with the UH flag coming out of where Houston's at, in the event that we won and Baylor lost. And so literally as we're sitting in the press box after our press conference, we've got the Baylor-Oklahoma game on. As soon as that clock hit 0, we had it ready, hashtag H-Town Takeover, the only undefeated team in the state of Texas, and literally hit tweet as
Nice.
It went 0. So, coming up with planned things, you're going to create content that you don't always use.
Sure.
But it saves you in the long run. I'd rather have content I don't use stored up in a folder somewhere as opposed to being unprepared for some other time.
Dan, take us inside a Sunday at a Carolina Panthers game. Where would you say the balance is for how much you come in prepared with, knowing this is what we're going to do throughout the game, versus how much room do you leave yourself to react to something that you didn't expect to happen?
Well, preparation is always key. I think both these guys here highlighted that quite a bit, that you want to do your research going into a game. If there is a player that's going to possibly break a record, or if there's a joke you can make at the opposing quarterback's expense, you want to be prepared for those kind of moments should they arise, and should an opportunity be there for you to leverage that content. So preparation is key. So you want to do your research leading up to actually on Sunday. An example that comes to mind was when we were playing the Packers. There was this Key and Peele skit where one of the quotes was, "You done messed up, Aaron." I guess a substitute teacher that was making fun of students' names. Well, we were playing Aaron Rodgers, and we wanted to make fun of him. So we found a good opportunity once one of our players picked off a pass of his that would have probably won the game for Green Bay. And it just, the time was right to use that there. And we got to make fun of that great quarterback. So a lot of times it's doing the research, whether it's comedic, dumb stuff like that, or if it's anything like what you said about Houston and Baylor, you want to be ready for those moments. So leading up to the week, it's a lot of that, or figuring out what type of content on your website you're going to promote leading up to the game. But you always want to leave room for spontaneity. We partner with an agency that helps us generate GIFs. They are called GIFs. I think we can all agree on that. In real time, not totally. It kind of breaks some NFL rules, but we're willing to toe the line on a couple of those to create content that's engaging for our fans. And that agency helps produce that content for us in real time, which when the opportunity arises, we will leverage. Like when Cam does ridiculous plays like that, or when he does some crazy dance, we want to have that visual element to it because it generates so much more engagement and growth, and our fans can get behind it. Someone else is going to put it out there if it's not us. It'll be Deadspin or Bleacher Report or SB Nation or what have you. So if we have a chance to get that really quality content out there early on, we want to do that. So that's the approach we take in the moment. From a video perspective, though, I'm limited pregame to what I can shoot with my cell phone. So if we capture one of our players hugging a Make-A-Wish kid before the game, or something going on in warm-ups that's cool, I'm limited to what I can get with my cell phone. That's fine. I think fans have an expectation that you're not going to have a fully produced video from the sidelines every single game. So, that's the approach we take there. But we're fortunate enough to have a very robust video and TV broadcast department who I can take video clips from after the game and use them, whether it be on social media, if it's a locker room speech, or it'll be highly produced and of the necessary quality that the NFL desires for every club to have.
Sure. And Chris, you're kind of in a unique perspective from the conference office. You're trying to support and boost all of your member institutions. So what does that require you doing? Are you leveraging content that your schools are producing? Or if you are at a game, if it's the game of the week, if you will you do something? How does the conference support things?
It's changed over the last couple of years. Essentially, I was trying to bring in video from every school every week and generate a ton of content, and my boss essentially told me to back off, that I was driving myself crazy, staying up there way too late, and scale it down and concentrate on that game of the week. We do a game of the week on American Sports Network and a game of the week on ESPN3 throughout both the football and basketball seasons. But when we really have content that's compelling that I think our fans can only get from us is during conference championship events. Unfortunately, in those times, I would love a clone because I'm executive producer of the television broadcast, I'm on-air talent, and I'm trying to do social media. So, for instance, during the baseball tournament this past week that we had down in a suburb of Houston, 2 games a day I'm calling play-by-play. In those games, I will tweet out a video using Snappy TV every half inning of a big play if there was one. And it works a little bit differently where the media relations contact will tweet in real time, simple text, and then you wait till the half inning. Well, here's that Jamison Fisher home run that put Southeastern Louisiana up 3-0 in that last inning. When I'm not on the air, I take over social media altogether, and you get a lot more video content and obviously a lot more traction. Those text tweets just don't go anywhere, unfortunately. But it is definitely the biggest challenge is balancing all of those different roles throughout the course of the game. And I'm sure that's the case for a lot of people as these roles continue to, I'm waiting for the next social media platform to hit and add that to the workload as well. I'm sure it's going to come out in the next week or so. And thankfully, my boss has no idea what Snapchat is and has no desire for me to do it. So when that happens, that's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, real quickly before we run out of time, I want to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about live and the opportunities that you see there for live streaming. Jermaine, Bleacher Report got a lot of love earlier today from Rob Shaw during his keynote presentation. He showed the show that you guys did with Chris Sims during the NFL draft. Really awesome use, killer case study on Facebook Live. I'm interested in your thoughts and really everybody's thoughts on live streaming and social. Is Facebook Live really, is it now? Is there room for other platforms still like Periscope? Or if Meerkat's even still around, I don't know. What do you kind of foresee as what's coming?
Yeah, Facebook Live is coming, and it's actually here. And I think we won't be talking about things like Periscope and Meerkat in the coming days, weeks, months, just because on all of those different platforms, you have to go out and build audience, or you have to transition your audience on other social platforms to it, right? So his example with the race at the golf field, right? Like you would have to tweet that out and say, hey guys, come check us out on Periscope or post on your Facebook page. So you have to get audience to leave one platform that they're already engaging with content on and transition to another platform. And a lot of times we found that users just don't want to do that, right? It's why traffic to home pages are down, right? People don't want to leave the content experience that they're already in. So Facebook gives you the opportunity to, it has the built-in audience that you've spent years and years developing. And so I think every one of us up here will be talking about Facebook Live in the coming months. I think I love the content we've been creating. I thought that the issue that we have is that, we don't have rights. You can't actually stream a game on Bleacher Report, right? Like we couldn't do that. So we have to figure out really cool ways to provide differentiated content to our users that's in the brand and voice of Bleacher Report, but is also live, and that also doesn't infringe upon any of our rights agreements with the different leagues that we work with. And so that, that challenge creates opportunity. It creates opportunity to be creative, come up with really cool stuff. I think the big case study that kind of kicked off Facebook Live was the BuzzFeed watermelon explosion. Did anybody watch that, right? I think something like 6 or 7 million people watched BuzzFeed explode a watermelon with rubber bands, right? But it's an example of coming up with something that is on brand for your particular publisher and that your audience would enjoy. I think in the sports world, we want to do that, right? We want to create that, and we want to leverage the access we have to talent, guys like Chris Sims who works with us. So yeah, I think Facebook Live is a behemoth, and there's no way around it.
Sure. Real quickly, we got a couple minutes left, guys. What are some opportunities that you foresee for something you might want to do with Facebook Live down the road?
Well, right now, Facebook Live and Periscope sort of violate NFL policy, so we're in a testing pattern. Every club has been given the okay to test. Occasional Periscope thing here, occasional Facebook Live post there to gather numbers and send them back to the league. Hopefully they're cool with it, and hopefully we're not in a position where we just have to do it anyway. But I do see Facebook Live as the better solution for us because of the built-in audience, because of the nature of the platform. But as what we have is a great broadcast department with Carolina Panthers. I would like to be able to, in a perfect world, have the Facebook Live broadcast be as polished as it can be. They could be close to what we do on the TV side or integrate cleanly with our broadcast. And that'd be quality content, something that would be engaging to the fans. Also, in a perfect world, we'd be able to interview players after a game with that live approach. But right now, we're just testing and researching and figuring out, do we need to mic up our phone for this? What is the right way to steady the camera? What should we be doing? What kind of content actually resonates with our fans on there? Because on the website and mobile app side of things, live content, if it wasn't Cam Newton doing a press conference. It didn't really do that well. It didn't get great numbers. Now, social's a different animal. You already have that built-in audience, so it's going to do a lot better than it did on our site. And I'm sure you guys seen similar numbers. On websites, live content isn't really moving the dial. So this is an exciting opportunity for all of us to get creative and look for unique ways to leverage that audience and capture some new fans with this live content. But not for a while for NFL clubs. So we'll see.
Just mirroring that point, I mean, with our website, the subscription numbers, especially for Olympic sports, aren't very strong. But we noticed this spring with our track and field program, just doing some tests with them at one of our home meets, doing Facebook Live. I mean, we're getting, whereas, our subscription stream on our website would be about 25 to 30 viewers, we'd put it on Facebook Live, and all of a sudden we'd have 3,000 to 5,000 viewers, watching our 4x1 relay. So we're looking at doing that, starting this fall with our Olympic sports and transitioning that way, and then also interactivity with our student athletes and even with our coaches, letting our fans really get to know them more, so they're buying more into the kids emotionally rather than wins and losses.
The light bulb moment from earlier today came when we talked about, in the keynote, about programming every piece of your game and really outlining like what Fox News does during a commercial of a debate. I have a feeling, in addition to all the elements I'm programming for a live broadcast, I'm going to be programming, all right, in this particular break of the game, we're going to go live on Facebook inside the huddle with one of our teams. In this break, we're going to be up with a band, all this kind of stuff. So a ton of different ways to show that stadium atmosphere. And thankfully, our coaches are all about maximum exposure. We're not going to get any pushback from coaches, so that's going to be great, I think, this coming year to supplement what we're doing on television.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. Lots of really great idea sharing here. Let's give these guys a round of applause. They'll be around for a little bit. If you have some questions for them, I'm sure they'll be happy to chat.